Hello, everyone. Hello, anyone who may be watching this in the future, and welcome to episode 2 of the CCA podcast. My name is David, and I'm joined with Sashenka and Jessica, our hosts, and also Katie, our guest for today from the Mantel Group. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, and thanks so much for having me along. It's great to be here.
Yeah, no worries. So first of all, I'll just give a quick introduction about myself. I am a first year this year at Monash University, and I'm studying computer science. Sash and Jess, would you like to intro yourselves as well?
Yeah, sure. I'll go next. I'm Sash. I'm in my 4th year doing software and commerce, and I'm CCA sponsorship director this year. And I'll pass it on to Jess.
Yeah, so my name's Jess. I am a 3rd year this year at Monash. I do a Bachelor of Commerce, double major in economics and marketing. And this year I am a sponsorship officer with CCA.
Awesome. Do you want me to say a little bit about myself?
Yeah, I was just about to ask, it'd be good if you could tell us a little bit about yourself as well.
Awesome. So I'm Katie, and I'm in the early talent team at Mantel Group. So I think my official title is early talent specialist. So I look after all of the recruitment for and running of primarily the Future Associates program at Mantel Group, which is kind of our answer to a graduate program, but also support with looking after the traineeship program, and then hopefully launching some of our new programs next year around the Emerging Tech Talent Academy and things like that as well. So yeah, looking at the moment after all of the recruitment for our program, which will kick off in February.
Sounds great. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'll just ask some first question, I guess. So you mentioned that you're with Mantel Group. For those who may not know too much about what Mantel Group does or what they're about, could you just give us a quick introduction about what Mantel is? I know you're a group of companies, so maybe you could speak a bit more about that.
Of course. So Mantel Group is a little bit unique in that we're what you'd call a house of brands. So we have Mantel Group, which is sort of the overarching parent company, and then underneath that we have 9 brands that sit kind of in that emerging tech or technology consulting space. So as a business, we do technology consulting across a range of different areas, including data, digital, design, and cloud. So I guess within those different domains, we have cloud engineering or cloud computing. We have 3 brands that specialize across the different cloud platforms. So Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform, and AWS. We also have a couple of data brands that look after data engineering, data analytics, data science, machine learning, AI, kind of all those cool things. We then have a digital team, or digital domain. So that's our sort of software engineering arm, which would cover our Digio brand, which is our longest standing, kind of most established brand within Mantel Group. And they kind of look after your typical front end, back end, kind of API engineering type roles. We have Itty Bitty Apps, so they look after, as the name suggests, app development and native mobile app development, which is pretty cool. And then we have Design, which is our Pretzel Lab team, and they look after all the UX UI design side of Mantel Group. So I guess we're a bit unique in that some of our brands have been built from scratch and I kind of have that kind of startup almost feel that we've created internally at Mantel Group, and then some of our brands we've acquired into the house of brands as well to increase our offering to clients. So yeah, basically whatever area of technology you're interested in, we've got a brand that does it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, cool. That sounds really great. I think, there's so much breadth of talent there that you can really go wherever you feel you do best. So in terms of like your career progression, how did you get to where you are now?
Yeah, so I actually started out in agency recruitment way back when. So looked after recruiting human resource professionals, so basically people that do the job that I do now. And after that moved to EY. I was at EY for about 18 months and did kind of a graduate recruitment role there, which is where I kind of discovered my passion for early careers and I guess working in this space. And I was responsible for recruiting across their financial services consulting team, which included the tech team as well in their Sydney office. From there, I actually moved into a role in government for about a year, which I really enjoyed. It was moving more into that kind of experienced hire space, but really missed working with students. And I guess my passion is very much supporting kind of those early in their career to find their path and discover what it is that you're passionate about, and then supporting people in that space. So an opportunity came up at Mantel Group to support with setting up their first ever Future Associates program, and looking at building relationships with student societies and universities and boot camps and that kind of thing. So yeah, back in the space that I love, and here I am today.
Yeah, so you'd say that you prefer like the more startup vibe or over the more corporate style, or, you know, are there merits and stuff for both? What are your thoughts on that?
There's definitely merits for both. I think I guess EY was a very good kind of foundation and for my career, and I guess taught me a lot of the skills that I could bring into Mantel Group. So it was a really great place to kind of cut your teeth and learn the ropes. Mantel Group's a very different environment. I think it kind of has that startup feel and startup culture. We're kind of not really a startup, I guess, anymore. Now we're 800 employees, but kind of still has that culture and that feel. And there's a lot more scope to kind of make an impact in a smaller company. So yeah, I don't know that I prefer one over the other. They're very, very different. And I guess kind of both have brought different skills to my career and things as well.
Yeah, cool. It's good to hear the perspective from both sides.
Yeah.
So you talk about how you work at recruitment as Mantel Group. Could you tell a bit about like your day in your life? What's your routine at work? How I feel like that's different to your past jobs, and what you like about this this job the most?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think one of the things I actually like about this job the most is that every day is very different. So in terms of a typical routine, it does vary depending on the day or the time of year. So I'll use now as an example. So at the moment, we're going through recruitment for our 2023 Future Associates program, which is really exciting. So my day is pretty much compiled of screening through applications, phone screening candidates. I sit in on a lot of the interviews that we have for our Future Associates program as well, which is great. So do a lot of kind of the technical, but also the kind of behavioural interviews as well, which is kind of, yeah, my passion and what I really love doing, meeting candidates and chatting to them. And then obviously managing people through that process, so booking interviews and scheduling things like that as we go along. I guess outside of that, my role incorporates a lot of work with student societies, so people like yourselves, and spend a lot of time going to careers fairs and running workshops and supporting students with kind of finding out about careers in tech, running events. So as part of this campaign, we ran 5 events internally at Mantel Group that was kind of new to us, but super exciting, and that was all about finding out about careers in tech as a whole and at Mantel Group and what that looks like. So yeah, big component of my role is that events management piece as well, which I really love and is a bit different to kind of just doing the recruitment side. And then I think outside of this sort of time of year, a lot of my role focuses on running the Future Associates program. So being the point of contact for people when they come into the program. So I run induction, for example, for 2 weeks, and kind of run some workshops there around an introduction to Mantel Group and getting people familiar with the business and what we do. I also support with kind of, I guess, booking the learning and development sessions that people go through across the programme. And as I said, being that point of contact and sort of supporting graduates as they start their career, really. So, yeah, a very varied role. And I think that's what I like most about it. I think there's lots of different things that I do each day. Every day is very, very different. And I don't think I've had any day that's exactly the same, which makes it exciting, keeps me on my toes. So, yeah.
Yeah, varied for sure. I was just about to say how you have such a diverse range of different responsibilities and tasks you need to go through on a day-to-day basis. But in terms of talent acquisition, I guess, I feel like a question that a lot of students would have, maybe what specific characteristics or traits or things that you can do to really stand out in that talent acquisition process are you guys looking for at Mantel Group? Because I'm sure not only does it apply to Mantel Group, it probably also carries on to other companies as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good question, and I guess one that I get asked quite a lot of the time. So I think there's kind of two parts to it really. So when it comes to applying and the application process for kind of graduate programs and Mantel Group's Future Associates program, we really look at your kind of application and your CV. And I think what we love to see come through is your passion for the area that you're applying for. So in our instance, it's usually technology focused roles. So we really want to see on your CV, how have you been upskilling outside of your formal studies? What do you do in your spare time to show that you're passionate about that space? So whether that's, just watching YouTube videos or chatting to your friends or going to meetups and things like that, that all counts. We love to see that on the CV because it shows us that you're passionate about it and you've been upskilling outside of your formal studies. Passion projects that you're working on in your own time as well. So kind of if you're really into software engineering, or I meet heaps of students that love game development but don't necessarily get to do it at uni, so spend lots of time kind of developing their own games and apps and things at home, which is really cool to hear about. And I love hearing stories about apps that you've developed and things like that. So that's one thing we really look for, is that passion. I think as well that the key call out with CVs is that a lot of people, as students especially, miss like any work experience. So I think if it's not tech related or related directly to the field they want to go to, they don't put it on their CV. And we love to see that, because I think especially from a Mantel Group perspective, we're a consulting firm, so any role that you've had that involves customer service or dealing with members of the public or having to communicate with people shows us that you've got some of those soft skills that we really look for as well when we're hiring. I think when it comes to the interviews as well, that's kind of a second component. It's very important to us that kind of we're looking for more your problem solving ability and your approach to tackling problems rather than technical excellence. So people get nervous when they see like a technical interview and think, oh, I don't know, I don't have the technical expertise. I don't know how to kind of solve that problem. And I think a lot of the time that's not necessarily what we're looking for. It's not about technical perfection and perfect code or a perfect solution. It's more about how you've approached that problem and how you're able to talk us through your thinking and some of the questions that we throw your way, like how are you dealing with those and thinking about them. And there's often not really a right or wrong answer, it's just about that thought process. So I think it's a lot of the time about those kind of softer skills and more human skills as opposed to kind of the technical excellence, because we aim to teach you that, right? And that as a part of our program, that's what our aim is, to support you on your technical growth. So a lot of it's attitude as well.
Yeah. Are there any like specific soft skills that you look for? I know you mentioned you look for those analytical and problem solving skills, and I assume communication would be a pretty big one up there. Are there any other specific ones that you like to see, and how do you think students can best portray that, whether that be through their application or their resume or the interview even?
Yeah, really good question. So a huge one for us is teamwork and collaboration. So we're a principles-based organisation. So one of our principles is in it together. So really a focus on, being a dependable team member and supporting your team. And I think that's one of those skills that we love to see from students as well. So we often see that come through by way of examples from like your university projects. So capstone projects or things like that, where you've worked with other members of your course to deliver on those. Equally, it doesn't have to be university related. If you've kind of, part of a sports team or have a hobby outside or, do customer service work outside of work, how have you kind of worked as part of a team to achieve a goal? That's important for us as a consulting organisation, because you're often working as part of a team to deliver on that. So that's one of them in particular that we look for, I think, alongside, as you say, that kind of communication and customer service side as well.
Yeah, cool. Has there ever been something, I guess, or some aspect that a potential candidate has shown that's really stuck out to you that you can share?
That's a really good question. I think the answers that I always really appreciate, I think, are when candidates, if we ask someone about perhaps a time when a project hasn't gone well or a teamwork position hasn't gone well, and actually we really enjoy hearing about how they've learned from that experience and actually been able to demonstrate they've taken on board feedback and learned from that, because as much as we'd all love to be, I don't think anybody's ever perfect from the off, and you can never get everything 100% correct. So I really enjoy answers like that, where perhaps people are able to draw upon experiences that haven't gone so well, and what they learned from it, and how it's made them them a better teammate or colleague or whatever it might be. Those ones in particular always stand out for me.
Yeah, I think there's quite a lot of pressure when you get asked about, say, your failures and stuff. A time when you failed and how did you fix it, or how did you go about improving? I feel like there can be some pressure when those kinds of questions come up in interviews, but it's good to know that you kind of just look for the improvement aspects of it all.
100%. I think that's the biggest piece of advice I would give, is that when you get asked those questions, people aren't looking to sort of trip you up and say, oh, what did you do wrong, or what didn't go well. It's really about how you took on board the feedback and what you learned from it and what you did next time, because I think it shows that growth mindset and that ability to kind of think about things differently in future.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was just wondering, since you've been at Mantel Group and you've also had a lot of different experiences as well, what are your favorite things, or things which really stand out to you and make your day working in talent acquisition at Mantel Group?
That's a really good question, and there's quite a few, but I think and this is very unique to Mantel Group, but I think going back to us being a principles-based organisation, one of our principles is love what you do and be awesome at it, which essentially is encouraging our people to love what they do and continue growing and continue learning and having a real passion for the space that they're in. And I think working in talent acquisition in an organisation where genuinely everyone loves what they do makes it a very easy sell to the wider student community. I think everybody that you come across at Mantel Group is passionate about what they do, loves what they do, is invested in growing and developing, which I think makes my role easier, because I think people have a real passion for early talent and growing people within the business as well, which when it comes to getting support with recruitment and involvement in the program and running workshops for our future associates, we have almost too many volunteers. Like people put their hands up to support all the time. It's awesome. So I think that attitude of kind of loving what people do and being in it together makes my life and job really fun and really easy at Mantel Group. And the support we have from kind of every aspect of Mantel Group to kind of run our Future Associates program as well. And yeah, I think that's the nicest part.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, sounds really good in terms of the environment and just being surrounded by people who are really motivated and want to motivate others as well. I think that's really great to hear.
Yeah, it's definitely the nicest part of my role.
Yeah, so I hear you talking about this Future Associates program. Could you tell us more about the student opportunities at Mantel Group? I guess how our member base can apply for that, where they can apply, where they can get more information on that as well?
Yeah, of course. So our Future Associates program is sort of our main program that runs once a year. So as I said earlier, it kind of is a typical sort of almost graduate program. So it's open to anybody that has, I guess, is ready to start a full-time permanent role from February of the following year. And often you can come from having done, a degree, a master's, a boot camp. You can be self-taught as well if you've got the skills to back it up and can show us that you're awesome as well. Our program's open to anybody that loves tech and is passionate about that space. So the program, as I said, it's a permanent role. It's underpinned by a 12-month development program, which we run in-house. So each brand within Mantel Group runs a slightly different program, depending on their area of specialism, but everybody gets involved in what we call Peak Academy, which is our in-house learning and development program. So that's our sort of main program, and applications for that have just closed, but we'll open up again about this time next year for the February 2024 intake. So we'll be taking an intake every year from here on in, which is very exciting, across all 9 of our brands. We also run a traineeship program twice a year, so that's aimed predominantly at career changers and or sort of career transitioners and people that have taken some time out of the world of tech and that are looking to come back into that space, but also it's I guess a 5-month program, so you'd need to be able to sort of do it full time for 5 months, and you get that real one-on-one mentorship as part of that program. So you have the opportunity to work on an internal project for part of that. You get a mentor for the full time, and I guess it's still open to students like yourselves who may graduate at the end of this year or be open to trying that role full time, but you feel like you want that kind of one-on-one mentorship support as you start that career in tech, as opposed to that kind of Future Associates program. So that's our 2 sort of main programs. Our third program, which we're launching next year and we're very excited about, is our Emerging Tech Talent Academy. So that's aimed at everyone, I guess, no matter what stage of your career you're at in that early talent space. So long as you've got, I think it's more than 6 months left of your studies, you're eligible for the program, and it will be run across Sydney and Melbourne. And it really is an opportunity for us to encourage students in their first year, second year, third year, to find out more about careers in tech. So I think one of the biggest challenges that we have when we're recruiting is finding students that know about some of our areas. So cloud computing, for example, is a very, very new area. It's not something that's often taught at university. So through this program, we'll do things like run boot camps and workshops and fireside chats, and give students the opportunity to meet with people from within Mantel Group and find out about, what careers are actually out there. What can you use your comp sci or software engineering degree for when you leave university, and kind of explore some of those different careers. So that's a very exciting one for us to launch next year. I'm looking forward to that. And in terms of more information, everything's on our website. So if you head to the Mantel Group website, there is a section specifically for emerging talent, and everything that you need to know will be on there.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh no, you go, David.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say, those mentorship opportunities seem really cool, like linking us up to someone who's already in the industry. Like at CCA, we're actually doing something pretty similar to that. We actually have a bit of a mentorship program going on at the moment. And yeah, I think that's quite a big of a challenge that a lot of students have, just finding that way to bridge that gap between that academic sphere and into the industry. And I feel like those internship opportunities will be really valuable for a lot of students. So yeah, thought that was great.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you can find yourself a mentor or somebody that works in the industry to support the knowledge that you've got from university, and then complement that with some kind of industry knowledge as well, it really helps prepare you for what's next, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think there'd be a lot to absorb as you enter the workforce. So having someone that you can kind of lean on, who will be there for you the whole time, is so important and would be really, really helpful. So I think we'll start to wrap up now. And just to finish up, I just wanted to ask a final question, whether you have any last minute tips for any students who are wanting to work in this space. Just any overall tips on what they can do while they're at uni or even after they're at uni.
Yeah, it's a really good question. So I think my top tips are always get involved in as much as you possibly can. So that's not necessarily paid internships or paid work. It's even just getting involved in this kind of society is awesome. So meeting like-minded people that give you the opportunity to meet industry professionals and network with people, I think is fantastic. Attend company events and things. So stay in touch with the community and look at what companies are doing in terms of things like showcase evenings and tech talks and that kind of thing, to keep yourself up to date with skills in that space. And then, as I said earlier, just really keep trying different things and practicing different things in your own time. So there's no harm in trying to code something on your own at home and seeing how you end up. If it doesn't work, try it again. It's all kind of about just that constant learning and constant upskilling of your own skills and having a look at what interests you and finding out about different fields as well, I would say. And yeah, I think the kind of final thing is to David's point around building a network of people that can support you in that space. So whether that's industry professionals, whether it's career counsellors at university, people like myself from industry that can support with giving advice on careers, I think that's always a really good place to start, in building that network, as well as your own peers as well. So finding out what other people on your course are doing, and your friends at university, how are they building their kind of brand and their network and things like that as well, to upskill. So yeah, leaning on others and getting that support early is really key as well.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think especially in tech, it's so important to keep upskilling, right? I reckon by the time most of us graduate, what's really popular in tech right now won't be the same as when we graduate. So it's important that we keep up to date on all of that, and as well as the networking aspect that you talked about.
So true. There's always new languages. I feel like even since I started working at Mantel Group, which was in November, there's been new things come in and new ways of doing things. So it's an ever-changing field. So I think that's it. Just keep learning and keep having an open mind. is always my advice as well.
Yeah, there's so much that we don't know. So yeah, so much to explore. Cool. I think we'll wrap up for today then. Yeah, thank you so much, Katie, for joining us. Was there anything else you wanted to add, or?
No, just good luck to everyone, I guess, applying for roles at the moment. And feel free to reach out to me with any questions. I'm always an open book, either on LinkedIn, email. Yeah, I'm always happy to help or chat through options for students as well. So you're welcome.
Awesome, amazing. Thank you so much for your time again. And yeah, hope you have a great weekend and rest of the day.
Thanks very much. You guys too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.